I tell people this all the time, and it's the truth. I am done reading mainstream comics. The only time I check out some of them is when I have to do a review. Other than that, I really don't care. Honestly, I just really don't care. Because none of it makes sense. None of it is doing anything for anything. It's just nonsense. That's it. Just absolute and utter nonsense. It has literally just basically become like gay fan fiction at this point, where they just throw in anything that doesn't make any kind of blast and then act like, you're the one who's in the wrong for not accepting this nonsense and praising it as the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, no. Let's look, for instance, at a series like X-Men. X-Men used to be one of the most premier comic books ever. You could pick up any issue of an X-Men comic and be amazed, pulled in, and want to know what's going on, want to know more. But that's done. Those days are behind them. Understand that? And now X-Men is just crap. Yes, Orgy Island is officially closed for now, but they will find another way to do that, to do even worse shit with that soon. But this is what's going on. They just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And now we're getting into the world of the bizarre. I mean, they've already gone into the world of the bizarre, but now it's the bizarrely bizarre. Because that's what they're doing. And again, they expect you to love it. I think nothing that comes out in Marvel or DC these days as canon anymore, because I am convinced that these people just hate these characters and hate their jobs and just don't care at all about anything. But that's what's going on. Let's find out the latest information in regards to Nightcrawler, who probably should have gone back into the night after this god-awful thing. So apparently, and this is a update on it here, apparently, Marvel Comics have decided that Mystique is no longer Nightcrawler's mother. No, Mystique is his father. And let's say that Mystique is his father and his mother is Destiny, who was Mystique's lesbian lover back in the day. Yeah. This article here from Bounding Into Comics, they read this shit so I didn't have to, and thank you for Bounding Into Comics. But Marvel Comics retcons Nightcrawler's origin, reveals X-Men teleporter as biological son of lesbian mutants Mystique and Destiny. Yeah, so apparently, Mystique has the ability now that as you know, Mystique is a shapeshifter. She could shapeshift into different people, okay, but no, apparently no. Mystique shapeshift into a man and acquired all the working parts because she could now change her genetic code and everything, right? And then run up on her lesbian lover. Apparently, if they're lesbians, I don't understand why the lover would want a man, but apparently they wanted a child, and it took a few tries, but apparently Mystique transformed into a man, banged her lesbian lover, and bam, along came Nightcrawler. That's how disturbing this is. And if you thought it was bad like that, apparently when it comes to Nightcrawler, apparently his mother, whose Destiny, whatever they want to call that, gave birth to him out of her ass while wearing pants. I don't know. I really don't know. They're saying it was like 22 hours of labor, lost a liter of blood, bedridden for days. I mean, even if I was here, because this whole thing happened in X-Men Blue 42, Blue 42 set hot. So according those current X-Men law, Nightcrawler was born like a football being snapped out of a woman's ass while she still wore pants. Okay, then because the doctor is literally standing like about 3 feet behind her, right? And she's pushing out this baby, and apparently he's going to catch the baby. And somehow this is supposed to make sense. I'm telling you, this is just some of the most disturbed shit you could ever think of. Why would you even put this together? What possible reason would you have to do it? But this is what they're doing. Let me just get into some of this from Bounding Into Comics. So again, I say thank you to them for reading this shit, so I didn't have to. Replacing one questionable editorial decision with another. Yes, because the literal doofuses, Jordan White and his doofuses at the X-Men office. I don't think Jordan White is there anymore. I think he is gone, but the doofuses are still there. I'm gonna stop. Marvel Comics has finally retconned Nightcrawler's widely panned mutants at Demons backstory by revealing that rather than Mystique and Azazel, the furry blue teleporter is actually the biological son of the blue shapeshifter and her lesbian lover, Destiny. Like, what? It's just wrong. What? I mean, yeah, a Nightcrawler is running around as Spider-Man in this god-awful looking outfit these days, and I don't know. But then keep in mind, Nightcrawler was an openly Christian, mutant, and because, in current day Hollywood and comics and everything, once you're a Christian, you're Satan incarnate. Nightcrawler keeps getting the short end of the stick. While apparently Destiny got the long end of it and then had to, give birth to Nightcrawler out of her ass. It's one way to look at it. Buckle up, readers, as it's time to take a ride through the tangled history of the X-Men's resident swashbuckler, beginning with his stop in the franchise's heyday of the 1980s. During his famous run on the team, writer Chris Claremont consistently teased the familial connection between the two respective mutants, primarily due to their shared blue skin and fully yellowed eyes. Yeah, so was all the time they kept talking about how, Mystique and Nightcrawler look similar, the blue skin, the yellow eyes. It was something with it they had, but Chris Claremont never revealed fully that Nightcrawler and Mystique were related. It was always kind of hinted at, and there was always the question. The mystery of it was actually what was kind of interesting to a lot of people, and wanted to know what was going on. Okay, and also the different stuff and all kind of stuff they wanted to do. They even tried this time to say that Nightcrawler's father would have been Nightmare, was some kind of demon thing, but that didn't work out, and all of this, right? So they went on with this all over the time, tried to do all sorts of stuff. Never really lasted anyway. And then after nearly a decade of teases regarding their relationship, 1994's X-Men Unlimited Volume 1, Number 4 saw author Scott Lobdell build upon his predecessor's connective tissues and finally confirm that Mystique was in fact the biological mother of one Kurt Wagner. Further, at the time, his father was established as one Baron Christian Wagner, a German nobleman who Mystique had married in order to take personal advantage of his social influence and immense wealth. And for the next 10 years, this thus would remain the Circus Elves family tree. Now, okay, if you eventually had to reveal who Nightcrawler's that Mystique was Nightcrawler's mother, and you reveal that his father was Baron Christian Wagner, I thought this was actually a decent play on it, because what had happened is that Mystique had transformed into this into this beautiful woman and married him, and when they had a child, and the child came out with blue skin, 3 fingers, pointy ears, and yellow eyes, they literally some of the Baron's men literally attacked and tried to beat her to death. And then when she shape-shifted into her literal original form, they were so terrified that gave her time to run, and then she ended up tripping and falling, and baby ended up, she ended up having to get rid of the baby, and that was what happened and stuff. Okay, that was a really good way to put it, because mutants were always persecuted and all of this. So you were like, oh, all right, this actually sets up a really interesting story about it. And Nightcrawler had lived a life where he was always in hiding because of how he looked. People always thought that he was some kind of demon or something like that. Decent way to set up a story. Okay, that didn't last. Then came Chuck Austen, one of the most notorious X-Men writers of all time, and a very noted critic of religion in all forms. When Austen took over Marvel's merry band of mutants, one of his main goals, ostensibly inspired by Nightcrawler's noted Catholicism, was to subvert the concept of angels and demons by revealing that rather than being of divine origin, these beings were nothing more than a series of proto-mutants. So basically what he tried to do is say that, this of course included Retcons, this of course included Satan, who according to Austen's retconning was not a fallen angel, but rather an ancient red-skinned proto-mutant teleporter known as Azazel. And how he tried to set up this story is that Mystique and her husband couldn't have, the husband couldn't have children, so Azazel transformed into him, and then did it with Mystique, because apparently he was trapped somewhere and he needed that child that could teleport so he could get out. So that's what happened, and they retconned it now to say that Azazel was actually Nightcrawler's real father, which I find was just nonsense. You can just stick with what was done before. That worked. You were good with that. No. What? That's what happened. So yeah, that's what happened. Went through it, all of this. Okay. Right. If any of that sounds completely bonkers to you, worry not, you're not alone. Yeah, because it was kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Between its obvious and surface level criticism of religion and complete disregard for the actual characters of its main cast. Between its obvious and surface level criticism of religion and complete disregard for the actual characters of its main cast, Austen's run ultimately went down in history as one of the worst X-Men runs of all time. Yeah, because like I said, that whole thing makes no sense. You could have just left it as is, and this is why when you go and mess with things you have no business messing with, you end up doing this crap. Just because you dislike religion doesn't mean you need to push out on literally everything. You had a story that actually kind of worked to say that Mystique was Nightcrawler's mother, his father was this guy, and what happened? That is it. It's all you needed to do, because X-Men are just X-Men and you move on with that. But no. Well, again, that's his problem. But like I said, they say one of the worst X-Men runs of all time. It could always get worse, especially now. To this end, newer readers may be completely unaware of Kurt's demon background, as Marvel has chosen to quietly avoid addressing the subject ever since Austen left the book. Well, that seems sensible because it didn't make no sense. That was until 2023's X-Men Origins Blue Volume 1 number 1. Oh god, they're back to the X-Men colors thing, because when they had X-Men Green and I thought two mutants literally murdered a guy for not recycling. That was quality entertainment there too. Yeah. Released on November 29, 2023, the one-shot spin-off from Kurt's current Uncanny Spider-Man solo series. I mean, who in God's name looked and thought this was making any kind of sense? It reveals that rather than Azazel and Mystique, the fan-favorite mutant is actually the offspring of the blue villainess and her female lover, Destiny. Yes, because like I said, it could always get worse, people. As detailed by writer Cy Spurrier, continuing her affair with Destiny throughout her marriage to Baron Wagner, Mystique is eventually met by an admission from the mutant precog that she would like to build a family. Even I find that I would love to build a family with you. If it is that, shouldn't Nightcrawler have some kind of psychic abilities then? Something? See, this is what happens when you just keep writing crap for people who don't want anything. Yeah, old scenes that the two of them lie down there up together and all of this. From there, as recalled by Mystique to her son, there were other pregnancies. Yeah, but like I said, there's a couple of them because, Mystique apparently transformed into this dude and gave it to her good quite a few times, and it didn't work out, but other births before and after, accidents, inconveniences, tragedies upon arrival, but never a child conceived in love. So he made a baby, just her and me. Yeah. Taking note of Nightcrawler's obvious bewilderment regarding the exact mechanisms of his new origin, Mystique proceeds to explain that the pregnancy was made possible by her ability, as first introduced in this movement, to manipulate cells, hormones, and ribosomes. I mean, like, Mystique is a shapeshifter. Now all of a sudden she could manipulate cells and hormones and all kind of stuff. To this end, she then details that thanks to this command of genetics, she was able to craft Kurt's own traits at the time of his conception, noting that Christian, Azazel, and countless others, they were but the shades of my path. I mean, like, so you're basically saying you could genetically mold your child into whatever you wanted, and you decided to turn him into a blue-skinned, three-fingered, yellow-eyed... oh my God! Further detailing Mystique's new power upgrade, an in-story that was penned by the X-Men's resident mad genius scientist Dr. Nemesis, featured with the issue elaborate. She is not simply adjusting musculature and skin, but rewriting the genomic instructions in every single cellular nucleus of her body, all at once, and all without conscious thought. To put it differently, as in Dr. Mystique is not a shapeshifter, she's a gene shaper. Her flesh is the most sophisticated biological apparatus I've ever encountered. Meanwhile, Kurt and Mystique's story is currently set to continue swinging on in December 20th, Uncanny Spider-Man, Volume 1, number 5. So yeah, apparently now, Nightcrawler's mother is actually his father, and his mother, whose destiny gave birth to him out of her ass while wearing pants. This is what X-Men and Marvel Comics have become, and this is why I say before I say again, none of this shit is canon to me anymore. I have just given up on mainstream comics. I only check out things whenever I have to do a review. Other than that, I don't care. I literally don't care. But I'll say again, thank you to Bounding Into Comics for reviewing this, so I didn't have to touch this shit. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. I have a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Yep, right out there. Take care.